This is still a pretty rough draft, and I had some more work to do on it, so I'm just going to use my computer instead of note cards. The banning of slaughtering horses needs to be passed globally. America no longer has facilities that slaughter horses. However, that does not stop people from buying horses in America and then taking them across the border to other places that allow horse slaughtering. Just this year, 800,000 horses were sent across the U.S. border to be slaughtered, according to the ASPCA.org. Between 2012 and 2016, almost 140,000 American horses were trucked across our borders into Canada and Mexico, according to ASPCA.org, to be slaughtered for human consumption. America banned horse slaughtering briefly in 1918 and again in 2006 because there were studies that showed that the slaughtering was inhumane. According to the USDA, the entire act of slaughtering horses is extremely hard on the animal, let alone a horrible end to their lives. Horses are vastly different than cows and other animals that are slaughtered. There are many reasons as to why, one being the act of moving a horse and setting it up in the pens before slaughtering them is completely different. One of the many reasons why it was banned in the United States was that the moving and waiting areas were inhumane to the animals and could, and at many times, cause major injuries, such as broken bones being one of many injuries that could happen to the animals. I believe that the policy of slaughtering horses needs to be addressed around the world. If one country feels the need to ban the act, then other countries would and should look into it as well. The fact that the economy was not greatly impacted by the fact that horse slaughtering was banned should be a major topic in the removal of horse slaughtering in general. Only 3 cents of every $100 made was due to the fact of slaughtering in the equine industry. Another point is the fact that eating horse meat is not even necessarily good for you and can be toxic. The slaughterhouses do not look at medical records of the horses, and who knows what chemicals horses encounter before they are killed. So the main question needs to be, why is it still happening? Because in some foreign countries, horse meat is a delicacy, and because the horse meat industry is a moneymaker for the majority of companies overseas. When in fact, the medicines that horses get make the meat toxic. A medicine that horses get very commonly, and that is very toxic to humans, is called bute, which horses can get multiple times in their lives. It is used as a painkiller in horses, but can be deadly in humans. Something else to think about is that 92.3% of the horses that are sent to slaughter are healthy, according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture. 92.3% of the horses that are slaughtered should and could be rehomed and live their lives out in a green pasture or become a great riding companion to someone who is looking for one. These horses do not need to die in an inhumane way, they just need the second chance to get rehomed. Many of the horses that are slaughtered are bought at auction, and more times than not, whoever that was trying to buy these horses are outbid by the slaughterhouses. Many of the horses that are slaughtered have been stolen or bought illegally. The slaughterhouses don't look at just the medical records, they also do not look into how the animals make their way to them. A story that is worth mentioning is the story of a racehorse who was a great colt and won many races, and then suddenly no longer won and was taken overseas. While overseas, the horse was sent to slaughter due to the fact the animal was no longer making as much money. The horse, soon after he had been slaughtered, made a great honor and was inducted into the Racing Hall of Fame. However, the horse was already dead. This is not uncommon in the racing industry, where when the animals are no longer performing as they once were, or if they never perform to the owner's expectations, then they are sent to auction or overseas, or even to slaughterhouses more times than not. You might ask, well, why is slaughtering a horse inhumane? To kill an animal that is being slaughtered, they use a bolt of electricity to kill them. With horses, they can be extremely head shy, which basically means they do not like things around their faces, which if many of these horses are already injured and in pain, then they are not going to want people near their faces anyway. They will be harder to restrain, which in turn could mean that the bolt of electricity does not go into the correct spot. If the bolt of electricity is not put in the right place, then they won't be killed. The horses will just be knocked out for about 30 seconds, according to Dr. Friedlander, who is a DVM and former chief USDA inspector, which means that when they go to dismember the horse, they are still awake and feel everything that is happening to them until they die. So along with the fact that the act of killing the horse, the act of moving the horses to where they will die, which according to ASPCA.org, the act of transporting these horses out of the U.S. is long and brutal on the horses. And the fact that the horses are more than likely going to be healthy and able to be homed, if they weren't already stolen, should be a deterrent to the fact that slaughtering these animals should be banned in general and not just in the United States. If more countries banned this, then there would be a much better chance for these horses. Several other things to consider is that the waste from the animal, such as the blood, cannot be removed, such as that from a cow, because horses are different, such as the fact that horses have almost twice the amount of blood than, say, a cow. That is just blood. There is other parts of the horse that would need to be removed in a correct way. Even with this, there are many other ways that these companies can be bad for an environment. If the companies do not take care of the waste properly, then the waste can hurt the communities around the companies. Also, these slaughterhouses can cause many problems to where they are located, such as smell, sewer violations, as well as environmental violations. On top of the fact that many horses near these locations will more than likely be stolen and then sent to be killed for money, because slaughterhouses don't look into where these horses are coming from. California had a fall of nearly 88% in horse theft after the slaughter facilities were shut down in California. To conclude, the fact that these facilities aren't good for communities, the meat itself is not good for you, and the fact that these horses are more than likely illegally taken from their owners and sold, as well as the fact that the entire act is inhumane, why hasn't this been banned already? So, with all of this, you may ask, why would countries be okay with slaughtering these animals? That is a good question, since it seems that even though the money may be good, everything else is not. So, thank you for watching.